Good morning to our dear friends in the US. Good evening to our friends in India, Singapore. It's my pleasure to connect with you on this final session of our 2022 Winter Heartful Living series. Thanks so much for joining us. Barbara started us off with a question. We've been talking about fasting and ketosis and other things. What are the things to look out for? Any dangers? The main things to watch out for would be for especially who should not do the fasting for more than 14, 15 hours. It's children below the age of 12 to 15. We don't recommend that. Pregnant people and people with liver failure, cirrhosis, as well as eating disorders. We recommend against fasting. But beyond this specific list of conditions, others at risk are people who have brittle diabetes, which means they have a tendency to have low sugar levels that can risk their life. So I'm going to request everyone to mute yourself unless you plan to talk right away. So these are the main things to watch out for. And then when you are trying to do the fast, you don't have any of those conditions like having insulin requiring diabetes, type 1 diabetes, pregnancy, advanced cirrhosis, and eating disorders, then you're trying to do fasting for more than 12, 14 hours. That means you had your dinner at 7 p.m., it's morning, and you're trying to go on until lunchtime or even past that. Main things to be concerned about is making sure you have adequate amount of water intake. 20% of the water we get is from the actual food that we eat. So that we are not getting. Plus extra, we need more water to go into this natural ketosis. So this is not ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet means cutting out the carbs completely and focusing more on fatty foods and high protein meat content. That's what mostly ketogenic diet is being used in this country and most of the world. It used to be called paleo diet and Atkins diet and so many other variations of this are around, but currently it's called ketogenic diet. But that's not what we are using in our Heartful Living program. What we use is whatever diet you like, whatever you grew up with, whatever is your fun food. So you continue to enjoy your foods, but try to eat more and more plant-based in your diet. That means add more vegetables, more salad, more fruits, more walnuts and avocado and things like that. And then try to overall stay hungry a little longer. That is all is hunger gratitude experience we teach in Siddha fasting. And the ketosis happens naturally. When we put in less food, even the food that we like, if the quantity is lesser by 50%, 60% every day, after 3 days, 5 days, the body realizes, okay, my friend is smiling, the food is there, but she's not putting it into the body. Maybe I need to kick in. So since the stomach is not supplying energy, the liver takes over. That's all it is. And plenty of water. And if you're still able to smile 20 times an hour, still stay grateful, then your body is probably doing okay. Listen to your body. If it says, I need some food, give it food. For the last 3 years, Heartful Living, I've done coming in on mornings hungry. But today, I had a good breakfast because when I woke up, I felt I needed food. I really needed food. So usually I do this in an empty stomach. But today I had 3 fruits, a banana, orange, and half avocado, and a couple of slices of bread. So now I'm not fasting after many years of doing this Heartful Living. Today is the first session where I've actually had food. But we don't have to feel guilty for eating because our body and us are not separate. We are working with the body towards health. Any other specific questions, Barbara, on ketosis? We don't need to be checking those levels or worrying about it. As long as we are hungry a little bit every time, we are doing the right thing for our body. That's if people have the opportunity to measure their ketone levels, it's a finger prick. And there are several tests of doing blood tests or even urine test, and breath analyzer ketone level testing is available. If people are really trying to use this method to lose weight and want to measure their ketosis level, it's available online. You can get those products and measure it. I have a product called Keto Mojo, which I picked up a few months ago on Amazon. KETO MOJO, Keto Mojo, and it works fine, I think, to check the capillary. It's just like a blood glucose test, measures the ketone and the glucose levels simultaneously just to see where we are. Because I've been doing this for so many years, I wanted to check it on myself. And we do get into ketosis without any ketogenic diet, without needing any ketone supplements. Just by staying hungry a couple of hours every day, we can do this. Excellent. What other quick discussion points? Angela, this might be a good time for you to introduce yourself and tell us what you just shared with me earlier today.
My name is Angela, and I kind of like to regroup. And so it's important to me to kind of go back and think about all the things we've covered. And so I kind of came up with my little own version of takeaways for me, sort of the nutshell summary of our 8 sessions. And so we had 8 weeks, so I have 8 points and then a couple of comments at the end. So first, it's important to focus on our breathing long enough to learn how to be still, to really learn to listen from within, and use your mind to be aware and intentional in everything that we say and do. Let our thoughts be positive and constructive. Use your attitude to be grateful and let your actions pass it forward. Use the sensations of hunger to recall the role that food has played in man's survival. Remembering this connection can guide in separating emotional and physical hunger. Being attuned to your hunger also allows the meditation to take you deeper into the moment that is here and now. Let good nutrition inform our food choices so that we can meet but not exceed our physical hunger. We eat to live, not live to eat. Move and exercise to strengthen your mind and body and refresh your spirit. And make time and space to find your flow, as this is the window into the space between the past, the present, and the future. The body has a regular rhythm for breathing. Even if one tries to hold their breath, the natural order of breathing is soon restored. So in our lives, we too need to eventually learn to let go of past hurts and wrongs. And in letting go, we can choose to rewrite our story so that it holds no regrets. For our thoughts are powerful tools to reframe past challenges into lessons learned so we can continue moving forward. As gratitude yields a fresh and light perspective to daily life, it becomes easier to be more self-aware, which in turn helps one to be more intentional in making healthy choices. Meditation provides the avenue for release of worry and stress. And if we add in exercise and flow, one has the recipe for heartful living, wellness truly from within. And while some ailments and health issues may still be part of our daily life, we have tools to cope in a broader and deeper perspective from which to coexist with things beyond our control. So that's kind of what I've learned over the last 8 weeks.
Amazing. I'm so touched and moved by this depth and clarity of putting it together. And I can hardly believe that I inspired you to write such a beautiful 5 minutes of discussion. Thanks so much, Angela. Anyone else has questions? They can ask Angela directly about whatever she just said. Anyone can unmute yourself. Thanks so much, Angela. My way of thanking you, what I think we should do is all of us take 1 minute to stay silent in our own self. We'll go into meditation. Willie always reminds us every session we should do silence meditation. So we have Angela sitting with us today, and not only is sharing her 8 weeks, but she brings this to our group, not because it's going to help her. She wants to bring this to our group so that not only our group, but future groups of Heartful Living can be inspired. So whatever she has shared, we're going to keep it and use it as a slide for future Heartful Living sessions. So for 1 or 2 minutes, we'll just stay in quiet meditation, thanking Angela for what she has brought and wishing her maximum health, wellness, and holistic well-being moving forward. So let's stay silent for a minute with Angela. I have a couple of slide sets today to go over with you. The first one is not meant for our group, but I spent the entire weekend working on it. And it's meant actually for heart failure patients who are in the hospital trying to catch their breath. So why am I bringing it to our group? Because I just put some ideas together for that set of uh, challenging situations. But then we've discussed most of it already in our Heartful Living. And I thought it might be a good way to summarize some of the teachings. And the important thing is so far, holistic health has not played a role in heart failure management because heart failure is life threatening and we have so many procedures, so many drugs, and cardiologists ourselves, we are not trained in holistic healthcare. And even if we have some interest, we have integrative cardiologists, but they would rather do that later on after the acute problem is settled. But thanks to Heartful Living since 2015, we have actually found the space where even in the hospitalized patients, we might be able to make a difference. So let me open that slide set that might take about 10 minutes to go through, and then we'll have some discussions about it. And then I have another 5-10 minutes worth of some more slides. So that should still leave us plenty of time to discuss things today. Any quick suggestions before we go into the slides? Any questions? Are you able to see my slide? Is it full screen or is it part screen?
Now it's full screen.
Perfect. Am I happy today? Heartful Living at the Source, February 28, 2022. Today is the last of our 8-week series, which we have continuously done since 2015. Now we are a group clinic formally offered at the Truman VA Hospital in Columbia, Missouri. And we've always had the luxury of inviting community patients and friends to join thanks to our VA leadership accommodating it. And we have helped not only ambulatory heart patients, we have helped their children and grandchildren. And in the last 3 years, we are finding that these methods might actually help acute decompensated heart failure patients in the hospital setting as well. So that's what we wanted to quickly touch upon. My disclosures are the website High Life Journey that you see below here, where all these lectures are made available for free for everyone to access anywhere in the world. And Seeking Hunger is a book which is currently available in the US and some other countries, but not yet in India. And this book is only a 30-page quick read just to tell people why it is important to connect with your own inner nature using hunger as a tool. I'm an advisor at Cardiac Wellness Institute, which is run by my sister Priya Chokalingam in Chennai. And this is what we wanted to quickly touch upon. Heart failure of obesity, what is it? What is mindful eating? And does Siddha directly lead to happiness? This is what acute decompensated heart failure means in the current day and age. More than 1 million patients are hospitalized in the US, another 1 million patients in Europe. The rest of the world, there are so many more heart failure patients. A majority of them are suffering with excess fluid buildup throughout their body, especially in their lungs, making it hard to breathe. Rehospitalization within a month is 24%, and within 3 months, a third of them are hospitalized and 10% lose their lives. So this is not a benign problem. Within 1 year, a third of patients lose their lives, and by 5 years, many people have risk of losing life. This is more malignant, unfortunately, than many cancers. The burden of this heart failure is not only with the heart, mobility issues in 2/3 of patients, pain and discomfort, carrying out daily activities are a huge challenge, and taking care of themselves and coping with stress and anxiety in 50 to 65% of patients is a big challenge once heart failure settles in. There are two types of heart failure based on the heart squeeze. Ejection fraction is normally at 65%. When it is below 45, we say heart failure with reduced ejection fraction, and the heart gets dilated and weaker. And that happens from heart attacks and from alcohol and other problems where we have several medicines which improve the outcomes. Whereas in half the patients, we see the ejection fraction is closer to normal, and the heart size looks okay and it's squeezing fine, but patient has heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. Unfortunately, we don't have any specific treatment in 2022 that will help improve the natural history and prevent the risk for rehospitalization and mortality. So this is where we are throughout the world. Despite all the advances, half the heart failure patients who have normal squeeze, we don't have any effective therapies. Going back, we know that health, only 25% all along has been with the drugs and interventions and procedures. Majority of our health throughout our lifespan, despite every advances in science, has been with our own lifestyle, environment, and our diet. This is important, and that's why since 2008, we have focused on home-based cardiac rehabilitation in our Truman VA hospital in Columbia, where disabled veterans who cannot walk because of back pain or stroke or so many other challenges, they take to arm weight training and arm ergometry to try and improve their heart strength. This we've been publishing well before COVID started. Since 2010, we've been reporting these findings. And what we see here is exercise time from 18 minutes goes up to 25 minutes. As you increase the workload on this arm ergometer every minute, we are seeing dramatic improvements within 3 months after doing this home-based program. So all this we are publishing. What we want people to recognize is, how do we measure weight and BMI? BMI up to 25 is considered normal. Up to 30 is considered overweight, and beyond 30 BMI is considered obesity in the US. Unfortunately, if you are from India, Pakistan, or Bangladesh, BMI of 23 is considered overweight, and over 25 is considered obesity, because people from Southeast Asia have risk of diabetes and heart attack even with very little excess weight. That's why they have much strict criteria. That same thing manifests in a formal pant size or waist circumference. For men in the US, it is 40 inches, and women, it is 35 inches. Again, if you are from Indian subcontinent, for men, it is more than 35 is considered risk. For more than 31, waist circumference is considered excess central adiposity and risk for heart disease. If you have the luxury of measuring actual body fat percentage, which is a true measure of excess fat, more than 15% is unnecessary for men, and more than 25% is unnecessary for women. So we can move towards this. 15 to 20% in men and 25 to 35% in women is what we are targeting for the most part. Unfortunately, over the last 5 decades in the US, from 10%, obesity has climbed to 35, 40, and now moving towards 50%, where we are talking about BMI more than 30. It's not overweight. Overweight and obesity, if you combine, we are already at 70 to 75% of the entire US population is dealing with excess weight. But obesity, where it is a health issue directly affecting our health, is moving towards 50% within the next few years. Comparing to the rest of the world, where does the United States stand? Japan, it's at 3%. In Europe, it is about 12%. And in the United States, we are head and shoulders above every other country in this world at 35% of obesity already. This is a study done from our own University of Missouri, Dr. Alpert, who's credited with this research for the last 20, 30 years. What he has shown is when people are excess weight for over 15 years, the chance of the heart being affected is 20%. But if somebody has excess weight, severe obesity, which means BMI is more than 35 or 40 for a duration of 20 to 25 years, then the chances of the heart being affected goes up to 95%. So if someone has been dealing with severe obesity for a long time, we really need to look at this as a specific reason for heart getting stiffer, independent of heart attack or hypertension or other problems. Excess weight can lead to heart failure. There are so many diets in the world. So certain diets like the DASH diet, plant-based, and Mediterranean diets are proven to reduce the risk for diabetes and heart problems. But the challenge is adherence. When anybody starts a diet, within few months, majority give it up, and by a year or two, nearly everybody has given up any diet. So we end up eating only what we anyway eat. So how do we make a change? We know from science that if we lose dramatic amount of weight, about 20% of our weight, our risk for heart failure and people with changes of heart getting stiffer and lungs pressure going up, all of that gets better. Heart output gets better, stroke volume gets better, pressure in the lungs get better. But this type of weight loss in the Western research is only through gastric bypass surgery so far. So we have to take out most of the stomach, and the gastric bypass does not remove the weight in the body. Because of surgery, people are eating much, much lesser food. It's because they're not able to tolerate outside food. The liver goes into natural ketosis, and thereby we are able to see dramatic weight reduction. Now, look at this 65-year-old friend of ours who came in with acute heart failure, not able to breathe well, swelling in his feet, his heart squeeze was very weak. He had morbid obesity, BMI was 45, pressure in the lungs was pretty high. But within 3 months of participating in our Siddha fasting hunger gratitude experience, his ejection fraction had gotten to 45. He was not in a wheelchair anymore. He was taking 4,000 steps on his own, and he reported feeling several years younger. And this is without any surgery, kidney biopsy or dialysis, which he was very near at this point when he first met us. This is because he has lost significant amount of weight through fasting for several hours on a regular basis. 2 times in a week, he would go for 20 hours. And then other 5 days, he would eat lesser meat and cut back on snacking, drink plenty of water. This patient discontinued water pills that are typically needed for heart failure patients. And within 3 months, he's able to feel 15 years younger. This we have reported in a medical journal, along with so many other stories like this. This is a nurse that I just started taking care of a few months ago. And if you look at her history, we are showing her weight in 2012, 2016, 2020. It's been around 85 kilograms for the most part. But by 2021, her BMI is 35 and her age at 64 together, BMI plus age is close to 100, which we feel directly puts people at excess risk for heart failure. And she has lost dramatic amount of weight since she met us 4 months ago. This is her weight. This type of drop we see sometimes with gastric bypass surgery. Sometimes even there we don't see it. But without any surgery, one of our own university nurses has lost this much weight. Her weight is now only about 58 kilograms. Her BMI dropped from 35 to 25 within 4 months, and she's feeling 20 years younger. So this is where we are connecting that age versus BMI, and anybody with a BMI plus age close to 100 might be at risk. So if that is your situation, talk to your doctor some more about these points. We go to why we use Siddha, because these are all the traditional medicines that have been practiced throughout the world over hundreds and over thousands of years. Siddha does not even feature in this, but I feel this has a history which is longer and useful for our society to embrace. These are the various alternative complementary medical practices. And Siddha, I feel, has been behind all of this, or several of these Eastern medical systems. Excuse me. As a cardiologist, we are trained in taking care of acute myocardial infarction and acute decompensated heart failure. That is what we do. We hope to improve lifespan. But when we practice holistic, we are able to improve the health span. We are able to encourage people towards sports and involving their body towards becoming creative throughout life. And using meditation, we are able to work towards elevating consciousness. Yoga checks off several of these boxes, but using Siddha self-inquiry, we are able to check off all these boxes, even acute decompensated heart failure. This is a patient who was in our own hospital 15 times. All these arrows shows how many times, and this is within a span of 12 months. Heart failure was such a huge challenge for her for the entire year. Here she went to a different center for a more advanced procedure in St. Louis to try and save her life. And despite that, she came back 3 more times. At this point, I met her for the first time when she was in the hospital and taught her our hunger, gratitude, and Siddha fasting. Since then, it has now been nearly 12 months. She has not yet been in the hospital even once. So that is the real power of self-inquiry, mindful eating. And despite all the medicines and 3 cardiologists, what we could not do for her through interventions, she has done for herself through self-inquiry. Stayed out of the hospital for a whole year now. And this again we have published. This is what we know. When we want to reduce cholesterol, we also want to reduce inflammation, which is such an important aspect of heart failure. For that, we have to really look out for certain foods which are high in red meat, processed meat, organ meat, and anything that tastes good. Unfortunately, cookies, donuts, ice cream, they all have excess sugar added to it, and most beverages have sugar added to it. So that is the challenge with soda and Powerade and Gatorade and things like that, which we all have to watch out for. So what are the foods that we can eat? Plenty and plenty of vegetables, green vegetables, dark yellow vegetables, whole grain, quinoa, brown rice, brown bread, multigrain bread, all the fruits, if you cut them and eat, they are fine. When we try to drink it as a juice, it's not that great. So have the real fruits. All the nuts have polyunsaturated fats and they are very healthy. Little bit of tea, coffee, and maybe up to a glass of wine is okay. This we know from a study in California, that if we eat for only 10 hours in a day, we have a much better chance of controlling our weight, glucose, cholesterol levels. What if people can go up to 16 hours instead of 10? That means have only 8 hours to eat a couple of meals. Then not only human beings, but what you see here is small life forms starting from unicellular organisms, up from grasshoppers and spiders to mice to rats to dogs to monkeys. Everything exceeds their normal life expectancy by cutting back on food intake. So this is a lesson that science has now taught us over the last few decades. So we recommend a little bit of intermittent fasting, where we say up to 14 hours every night and up to maybe 20 or 24 hours once a week when you're at home. But even when you're in the hospital trying to deal with heart failure, you don't have to eat just because food is served. You could wait until you really feel hungry. That is going to help your heart. And in this intermittent fasting, we still look at hunger as something that is to be coped with. And we may be able to, at the end of a week, cut back about 30% calories. What we are teaching, though, is hunger gratitude experience, which is Siddha fasting, where not only the physical health benefits, but also the mind and resilience gets so much stronger. We look at hunger with gratitude and we are able to cut back even further, 50, 60, 70% calorie intake. And this has been sustained for now 5 years by so many of our heart patients. So doing it while in the hospital only gives you more confidence that you can sustain this when you go home. Not only living 100 years, which is an amazing thing, but we feel alive in the moment. So that is what the meditation does to our heart patients. So what is this Siddha self-inquiry? It starts with gratitude. Every day, wake up in the morning feeling gratitude for some person, circumstance, or just to be alive in this COVID world. And let that gratitude warm your heart for a minute before you get out of the bed. That will give you the confidence to smile 20 times every waking hour. That reduces stress, builds optimism, and gives you the energy to deal with physical hunger. That itself is a meditation that deepens your awareness of your body, reduces diabetes, blood pressure, and cholesterol problems, and your heart failure, if that's what you have, will get better. That's what many patients are showing us over the last 5 years. So to remind you, emotional eating, which is something we want to avoid altogether, which is when we try to snack a lot and go for more sugar added substances. Habitual eating, I did that for 45 years of my life, where by the clock, 8 a.m., 12 noon, and 7 p.m., I would have 3 meals. I did that for 45 years without fail. And then I realized even that's not needed. We don't need 3 meals a day. We don't need any snacks in between. We need to eat only if our body really, really physically needs food. And then we've gone even beyond this. We've taught our friends how to deal with physical hunger just with smiling, just with gratitude, and with tap water. So we are not selling anything. We are only asking you to look within to find the confidence to be physically hungry. Even this we can cope with for several hours without any health damage. And that's when our body and our mind opens to really nutritive foods. When I'm really fasting and I'm truly hungry, the first thing I'm hoping to find is a banana. It's not a cookie. So this is the mindful eating scale where generally people should stay between 4 and 7. If your BMI is only 22 or 24 and you're totally healthy. But if you're trying to lose weight, you would benefit from learning how to understand hunger at a deeper level, and even going up to very hungry or feeling starving. All this will be only for a few days, maybe a few months. For me, first couple of months was a challenge. But now I don't even go up there because my body goes into natural ketosis much sooner. As much as I make sure I am connected, relaxed, and drinking water, the liver will take over and start mobilizing the fat stores so that we can go into this ketosis and take care of enough energy requirements through the body itself. So this is what Siddha recommends. Fasting itself is an excellent medicine. Pattini peru marundu. So 50% of the stomach, if we have good food, which is nutritive, 25% of the stomach with water, and leave 25% of your stomach as empty. Tirumular, thousands of years ago, has said beautifully how the Siddha 5,000, 10,000 year tradition has been practiced. அண்டம் சுருங்கில் அதற்கோர் அழிவில்லை பிண்டம் சுருங்கில் பிராணம் நிலைப்படும் உண்டி சுருங்கில் உபாயம் பல பல கண்டம் கருத்த கபாலியும் ஆமே. Turning inwards, the self awakens. Losing weight, life lengthens. Eating less, benefits are plentiful. It detoxifies and directly elevates consciousness, makes us more connected, happier, and fulfilled by connecting with our own hunger and inner nature. This is what one of our friends has done very recently and shown that for 50 days he can go without any food to overcome his heart failure. That is not what we recommend, but this we are publishing now not as a recommendation, but to tell people that how the body behaves, what happens to the weight, what happens to hemoglobin A1C for diabetes and cholesterol numbers and things like that. But what I'm bringing this here is because of the mindful aspect. This question that we always wonder, today is a bad day, good day, it's okay day, my cup is half full, I'm pessimist, optimist. None of these things matter when you go into self-inquiry. For him, this cup was totally full and overflowing. That is his magic. And these are the mechanisms how in acute heart failure, when people are in the hospital trying to get rid of excess fluid, trying to catch their breath, this hunger gratitude might work. It improves confidence, and through fasting, there is a chance to go into ketosis, which directly works on the heart and improves the kidney function and lessens the need for water pills so that we can go home sooner and avoid complications like cardiorenal syndrome that increase risk for prolonging the hospitalization. And once we learn these methods in the hospital with the supervision of the doctors and nurses, we might be able to practice these things at home as well towards gaining healthier amount of body weight. So to summarize this hunger gratitude Siddha fasting in acute heart failure, the simple 6 tips are: stay grateful in the moment, smile 20 times no matter if you're in the hospital or at home, avoid eating for about 12-14 hours every night if you can. If you're trying to lose weight, you might be able to go for 18 hours on most days, and that way you might be able to find your body gets enough time to rest, recover, and start going into ketosis to lose weight naturally. Avoid all types of snacks and sugar added drinks. 1 to 2 cups of coffee may be okay, even when you're fasting. If it helps you fast, I'm happy with this. Being hungry is a true sign of being healthy. So don't be worried that you're hungry. Find ways to cope with it and learn to live with being hungry, which is an excellent sign of health. Drink plenty of water. That's a very good thing. Even if you have heart failure, if you're thirsty, you need water, drink it, you'll be okay. 6 more quick tips. When they serve food for you, morning, afternoon, evening, and night in the hospital, that is a good thing. The food being besides you will give you more power not to eat it. Don't worry about wasting a little bit. If you're not hungry yet, and you can go on a little longer, we welcome that. Fasting itself is direct power and gives you so much more confidence. We don't want anyone to starve. If your body is not feeling well, if you're getting headaches, if you're feeling uncomfortable, please have food. Preferably have a banana or fruits and some salad to start off, and then you can try again the fasting the next day. There's no rush. This is a lifetime experience or experiment or exploration. It's not like you have to become a master while you're in the hospital. If you are diabetic, be careful. Tell your doctors what you're doing so that they will cut down on your insulin dosage if you decide that you're going to eat lesser that day. But usually in the hospital, we check glucose levels several times in a day. So this is not a problem when you're in the hospital, but when you're getting discharged, you may have to discuss with your doctor about cutting back on your long-acting insulin dosage. And for your short-acting insulin, again, you may have to become comfortable checking your sugar levels and giving yourself a little lesser insulin every time. By and large, for people who get into this, Siddha fasting, they find their overall insulin requirement is only 1/3 or half. Again, this type of thing is not meant for type 1 diabetics who need insulin to survive. For them, we don't recommend fasting. We don't recommend reducing insulin dose. But for type 2 diabetics who are dealing with severe obesity, this might work, but you have to discuss with your doctor. Check your blood pressure, especially when you're standing up. Because of these changes in your diet, you may need more fluids just to maintain adequate blood pressure so that you don't feel faint or tired. Drinking enough water again makes a lot of sense. Even if you're in the hospital, fine. If you are able to walk around, it's very good to strengthen your heart. So stay up and walk a little bit several times when you're in the hospital. This program started in Columbia, Missouri, 2015. And now, because of going online, we have so many VA centers from California, from Boston, from Florida, and Georgia that are joining us, from Texas. So we want to spread this simple holistic methods first by training our colleagues in medicine and cardiology, in critical care, but we also directly reach out to our patients because there is no time to waste. In heart failure, we yet don't have any specific treatment if the heart squeeze is normal. So you can learn these methods, especially if you have excess weight, and we are happy to support you in any and every way that we can. These are our collaborators. I cannot thank them enough over the last 5 years that have helped me to get to where we are in this program. And most importantly, I want to thank my patients who are telling me that real health, recovery, curing heart failure is a possibility. We are so many heart failure patients who don't have heart failure anymore for the last 3 years, 4 years. And that is not what science teaches us. It is what my patients are showing me that it is possible. So that material we are publishing thanks to our patients who are so inspired towards this self-inquiry and Siddha Heartful Living. So Siddha fasting, to summarize, is based on cardiology, latest evidence-based medicine, positive psychology and mindfulness, stress reduction, and motivation for compliance. And we use Siddha, yoga, and exercise methods all in the outpatient setting. But even while in the hospital, this fasting method can be safely embraced to improve outcomes. So practice this until your heart tells you that your experience of life is totally full and overflowing with uvagai, which is inner, reasonless, true, everlasting happiness. I wish you all success in life. Good luck. Thank you. Excellent. I'm sad that there was so much noise. I tried to shout above that. They're doing some construction right outside my office, it looks like. Were you able to hear me okay? I'm glad I had this mic.
It was very clear. Thank you.
Super.
It's very audible. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Any quick questions on what was discussed so far? I have one more quick slide set to go through before we wind up for today.
Can I just ask why you speak of huge
Hunger,
fasting?
yes.
What is huge?
Hunger, gratitude, experience. We want to
Okay.
directly experience life out of gratitude using hunger.
Okay, thank you.
What is a water pill?
Lasix, furosemide, that's what we've been using now for 50 years to take care of heart failure. So that we still use in heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. But beyond that, that just gets rid of the fluid. It doesn't improve a person's chance of survival. So to improve that chance of survival and actually to get rid of the heart failure itself, we've shown that our methods have such good promise. We haven't shown it in long-term trials. We are starting that as a multi-center effort. In the next year or two, we may be getting those answers. But we feel it is so simple, intuitive, and gives people a chance to get so much health that anybody with dealing with excess weight and heart failure, we wish that they are able to try these simple methods. Gastric bypass surgery might do a lot of these benefits, but the challenge with gastric bypass is it's safe only in 30s and 40s, maybe in the 50s. But my heart patients, a lot of time are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And because of their heart failure itself and because of so many other medical issues they have, they're just not safe enough to go through such a big surgery. So these methods end up being so much simpler, yet more profound in their scope and reach, that it doesn't only help the heart, but also helps consciousness or mind.
Oh, the water pill reduces the fluid around your heart. Is that
Yes, it reduces the fluid in the lungs and the legs. I'm going to request everyone to mute yourself. Let's quickly go through this, some more slides, and then we'll take some more quick questions.
Dr. Challingham, I left a chat question.
Yes, you have a question?
I left a chat question
Okay,
for
let
you.
me get through these slides first, and then we'll do that. Do you see the slide full screen? You do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, how much our intelligence we may have, even if we are as intelligent as Albert Einstein, we are not going to keep up with artificial intelligence. It's just getting insanely smart. Should we be worried about it? Some are, but that's how intelligence is. Already AI is smarter than small organisms. It's nearly as smart as birds already. This is a paradox where computers are finding it easier to play chess, to pick stocks, but computers, it's harder for them to learn, to recognize faces and to smell. And these things we learned over several million years. These things we learned only in the last few hundred years. Maybe that is one of the reasons why computers are finding these basic skills so much harder. We take these things for granted. I want you to look at my own depiction of consciousness. I look at consciousness in two dimensions. One is time, where this is where we are in the present. So we are either happy or worried, right? So this is how our consciousness is. When we look back, we have plenty of regrets. When we look forward, we are concerned, we are anxious about several things. But in our Heartful Living series, over the last 8 weeks, we've learned that in our past, we can have so many things to be grateful for, and we look forward towards being fulfilled while we are here. When we do mindful practice, our ability to cope with more and more pleasurable and stressful situations goes up. We become more empowered in the moment. But when we practice heartful living, we are able to embrace even further into our past and even further into our future, because our heart, our subconscious, you could say, is so about 1,000-fold more powerful than our logic and our reasoning. So once we do heartful living with several methods that we have, for instance, it can be playing sports or doing some exercise. It can be finding a hobby. It can be intermittent fasting or hunger gratitude. Siddha fasting is what we call it now, and finding a meaning and purpose in life, ikigai. All these things, when we are connected with ourselves at a deeper level, we are living heartfully, which gives us the ability to embrace all these things in our past and in our future on an everyday basis, to that point, then we come back and say, Doc, I've done this for 2 weeks. I've done this now for 5 years. For me, my regrets have become smaller. My anxiety has become smaller. And my gratitude and fulfillment in my future and my experience of life itself has become this. This is what my friends and patients are telling me in the last 5 years. So this is the real message of Siddha Heartful Living. And this is beautifully shown here in the same slide. Over the last 15 to 20 years, this patient at 60, he was having heart failure. And at 80, he's now looking forward to celebrating his 100th birthday, because in the last 20 years, he has been losing weight. But only in the last 2 years, he's taken up hunger gratitude. And you can see how much more weight he's lost. 25 pounds for an 80-year-old to lose is not easy. It's not by playing tennis. It's not by running marathons. It's only by smiling and enjoying life and being connected with himself. That's all he's doing. And obviously, not only smiling, he also eats a little lesser and stays a little hungry every day. This is a friend of ours. At 69, she had every organ fail except her mind. So she came to our 8-week sessions in the VA, and this is what she told me when I asked how grateful you are. What do you feel grateful about?
That I wake up every morning.
Excellent. You started out saying that you're an optimistic person.
I've always been optimistic and always figured I had at least the glass half full.
Now, how do you look at your life?
Instead, my glass is always full and overflowing.
And this is despite having so many organs: the heart, lungs, kidneys, liver, GI bleed. And she also had vertebral fractures when she recorded this message. She was bedbound. She was on the phone telling me this during a telephone visit. So that level of optimism, many people think is crazy, but she has learned it through being with us for those 8-week program. So the word Homo sapiens itself, human beings, means wise humans, self-aware, freedom, and the chance, the opportunity to celebrate life. That is what is embodied in the word Homo sapiens. Human beings have been around for 300,000 years. Siddha has been around for 10,000 years. Yoga has been practiced at least for 5,000 years. We've been asking people to smile since 2010. So that's where our journey started. We started Heartful Living in 2015, and online we went because of the pandemic in 2020. To summarize, we ask people not to eat for 14 hours every night out of gratitude. Find any exercise or sport and be aware and smile through it. Self-talk and silence for about a couple of minutes to 10 minutes every day, and try to do some sacrifice, some altruism, something out of your own energy, your time, your effort for somebody in your community, in your neighborhood. And that itself builds self-compassion and confidence, meaning, and purpose in life. This is one of our friends who went for 50 days without food, and his weight dropped dramatically. If you don't eat, weight goes down, but his energy level went up so much. He felt so connected, optimistic, and I can't even express in words how happy he was on day 48 when I took this picture. He was in the hospital last 4 days because he got so weak. So we are not recommending this type of going without food. That's not a good way to get healthy, but he did this for 50 days. And I had to go to Sam's Club and get him some fruits, because in our hospital, we are giving him healthy food, but when he started refeeding, he wanted more and more fruits. For 5 days, 10 days, he had to be safely monitored so that his refeeding does not trigger any heart irregularity or kidney dysfunction. So I would get him something so that he would feel that confidence. So this is where he was able to feel that level of optimism. We'll stop here and go from there. We still have close to 10 minutes left. That's good. So did I come off the slide set? Are you still seeing my slides?
Still seeing your slides.
Ah.
Yes, the slides are still up. We're
Oh.
still.
Okay, good.
Doctor, I've been told I have a diastolic heart failure, but that it's not bad enough to see a cardiologist.
Good.
Now I am overweight. I went to a doctor recently because I have so much shortness of breath, and I've been tested and tested. And this doctor said, "You're old and you're fat." And that's basically what he said to me, which
I
is
didn't catch what
horrible.
he said. What did he say?
You're old and you're fat.
Ah.
I did not slap him, but I wanted to. But in any case, this diastolic heart failure, I was told I didn't need to see a cardiologist. It's apparently not bad enough.
No. I think, are you in Columbia area? I am so happy
Yes.
to see you. You just have to call my clinic and ask to see me, and I'll take care of you this week. I'll make a special
Really?
appointment for you. Oh, with pleasure. That's what I do for a living. This is what I do out of my free time.
I know,
I shouldn't say
but
free time. I
but
should say I'm doing it out of my
no,
passion. But treating heart
taking
failure
a
is
new
my job.
patient.
I'll be so happy to take care of you, my friend.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to get in, if not this week, next week.
Anytime. I'm there Tuesday, Thursday, Friday mornings. In the VA, I'm there
Okay.
Tuesday afternoons. Clinic I have in the
You're
VA.
there when? What
You're not a
days?
veteran, right?
No,
In
no.
the university, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings, I have clinic.
Okay, thanks.
With pleasure. Quick questions for another 5 minutes. And then I'm here after that for as much as time as you would like to chat. Next
Okay,
5
well,
minutes,
I
quick
put
question
something
answers.
on. I put something on chat also.
Oh, sure. Let me look at that. Everybody is congratulating Angela for her beautiful summary of Heartful Living. Thank you, Angela. Public Library has a copy of Seeking Hunger. Yes, and it's available on Amazon also. It's, I think, $7 or $8. You can order it on Amazon. Yes, somebody has said that after that. What is HFpEF? Heart failure, preserved ejection fraction. That means the squeeze is fine and still the heart is failing. If the squeeze is weak, then we can do balloon, bypass surgery, put some stents and make the heart stronger. But if the squeeze is fine, we cannot fix it, right? That's what is HFpEF, and that's what we don't have any treatment for except this water pill. So that's where we find from our patients that they are able to cure themselves through smiling and through staying hungry. Okay. My BMI is 21. My age is 81. Excellent. That also puts you at over 100. But that number, that scale that we have goes only up to the age of 65. Beyond that, we don't use that scale because we have so many people living 100, 120 years without any heart failure. So that measurement of age plus BMI works until the age of 65. Beyond that, don't worry about it. Okay. What is water pill? Thank you. This is nice. When my stomach is you're teaching me and Ron that when we hear our stomach growling, we are listening to good music. So all these things I have to put it into slides because that is the real message. And I did not know this message until you put it so beautifully. Our stomach growling means several things. It means we are needing food. It means we are going to get up and go after it. But in the last 10,000 years, going after it does not mean running and hunting and gathering and climbing trees for fruits. It just means opening the refrigerator. So what we can do is let that grumbling go on a little longer. That's all we can do because we are still not going to go out there in the street and hunt for food. We're just going to open the refrigerator at the end of that fast. But we can do it with smiling. And this is the best music. Thanks so much. Can you repeat desired BMI levels? BMI should be less than 25 for people around the world. If you are from India, it should be less than 23. If you're from Bangladesh, Pakistan, it should be less than 23 to be healthy. Okay. What other questions do we have? You can unmute yourself and we can have a quick chat for another 5-10 minutes. And then
One more for me then.
Yes,
can we
madam.
get those wonderful slides that show the relationship of happiness, etc.?
Whatever you
just
saw
showed?
today, I'm happy to email you. No problem. With pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
I asked my friend, our nurse, to come and talk to us, but I don't think she's made it because she's so busy. She's working Monday mornings. She's planning to retire next year. So if she had not seen me 4 months ago, she would have still been with heart failure. And at the time of 65, when she is retiring, she would have had to cope with so many doctor's visits and challenges. Now she's going to retire as a 45-year-old. That's what she told me. last week when she came into our clinic. That's the slide I showed, where her weight is dropping off like magic. I cannot draw those graphs. Those are all medical records that I'm showing. So I wish I can draw something like that. It's so beautiful to see that she has completely fixed everything in 4 months. I think Loretta wanted to say something and I spoke. Anyone can unmute yourself, share your thoughts.
I'm talking too much, but I have a friend that's here with us today who makes the most wonderful bread. And she is on a diet, I know. And I am also on a diet right now. I've lost 20 pounds. Hopefully we'll keep it off. But the idea that I would never or not often taste her wonderful bread again is what do we do about things that we really, really enjoy
We should
that
earn
we
it.
know are not good for us?
We should earn it. Younger people, if they want to learn sports or start running or walking for an hour or two, they earn it that way. For people who are dealing with heart failure and with advanced age and comorbidities, they can earn it through smiling and being hungry. If you're hungry enough, then you've earned your friends' amazing bread. And you're welcome to share it with our group also. So bottom line, we'll end up having to have lesser portions of it, but definitely you should enjoy your friends' bread. People who
I
haven't
just have a
spoken so
little-
far? Yes.
I
Yes,
have
Barbara?
spoken. I just wanted to confirm my internet has been going in and out and I've been missing stuff. So, but everything like today, and I think for the whole 8 weeks, in a few weeks or months is going to be accessible on that website. And
I
we
think
can
it
listen
already
to
is.
it
I got
again.
an email. So by next week, for sure, it should all be there. All these 8 sessions.
Fantastic. Thank you.
The last 2 years is already there. The last 2-3 years worth of it. Since pandemic started, we've recorded and placed everything in the website. But this 8-week series will be there very soon.
That's wonderful. I had listened to a lot of the other ones, but the ones that we participated in, I will be able to relate to more easily, I think. So thank you.
Definitely. And this is the first time we have so many people coming up with the new ideas, how to make our program better. So nice. Thanks so much, friends. Yes, Loretta, you want to say something?
I do. I just want to thank Angela for her summary and sharing with everyone. I really enjoyed it, and it says it all. Will you be making a slide of that and then make it available to everyone?
Definitely. I'll add it today because she emailed it to me already. So I'll put it as a slide, add it to our presentation, and then share it with our group.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for another wonderful session. I really appreciate you. Welcome.
Thank you for trusting me in 2015. This cardiologist asking you to eat lesser. And you are the people who are showing us how the whole world can find freedom from within. See, Anand, I'm happy. I don't have excess weight. I don't have heart failure. So I cannot connect to it directly. As a cardiologist, I deal with it every day. But you are showing the trust. You brought your husband to my clinic and said, he is also going to do this. And both of you together have inspired us so much.
Oh, thank you. Well, you're a lifesaver. You really are. I appreciate you.
I have a question. Are you going to have another session coming up, and when?
We do this 4 times a year. But now in this online sessions, because it's all recorded, I may do it in Tamil, my native language. First time ever I'm planning to do that May and June. So the slides will be the same, but the communication will be in Tamil. So after June, so July, August, September, probably when we start it again. Because these recordings are going to be available for anyone to view. So that's less incentive for me to do this again and again live. Do you think we should do it live rather than wait
Thank
for the
you.
recordings?
Yes.
You don't like the recordings?
The recordings would be fine if there was some indexing or something so you can find your place. So
Yes,
you don't,
they'll
you
have
know,
the
if you're
date and the
looking for
topic and all
something.
that. Okay. Beyond that, it might not have details, but the title, topic, date, all that we put in there. You might have
Yeah.
seen that, Angela, in highlifejourney.org. Did you see that?
Mhm. Yes.
You don't think that indexing is reasonable? It has to be more detailed?
It's a lot of video to go through if you're looking for something specific.
I see what
It'd
you're
be
saying.
nice if you
The,
could
the new
select the
ones we'll make
slide
it.
and then here.
We'll do
Yeah.
it. The new one we'll try to make it more easy.
Yeah.
Excellent. Nice suggestion.
Plus, it's nice to have this time at the very end to be able to ask questions and hi, and learn from other people. I heard someone call you a lifesaver, and I know for me that's in fact very true. But I do have a question. How do you know what type of exercise you can safely do? What's a safe place to start exercising so that you're not, taxing your heart or working it too hard immediately?
Amazing question, Sue. Thanks so much for joining us. The answer is going to vary based on who we are talking about. If we are talking about a patient who had a heart attack within the last 2 weeks and got a stent, we have to be much more careful because the first 3 months, there is risk for stent failure or for more heart attacks, things like that. But if people are generally stable or don't have blockages in the heart, they just have heart failure, then we recommend some amount of exercise. In a scale of 1 to 10 being the most exercise, I can barely breathe, I'm going to have to stop. 10 is that level of stress or exercise. 1 is just casual sitting around. So for people with a heart attack in the first month or 2, we don't recommend anything beyond 2 or 3. For people with heart failure who are trying to, in the hospital setting, that's what we discussed today. In the hospital, we can still go to 3. That is mild walking around at a slow pace. 4 or 5 will mean a little bit of sweat starting to develop in the forehead and not able to maintain a conversation, right? That's a modest level of exercise that most people at home should be able to do for a few minutes. That is good. I'm talking about 5-10 minutes. This is for heart failure patients. But for people who don't have heart failure, we can go to 6 or 7 out of 10. That means working reasonably hard where you're not able to maintain any conversation. So if you're taking a small toy dog and walking slowly in the street, that's not going to get you up there. So we need to go a little further. And if people are generally healthy, just wanting to know how much exercise, 30 minutes on most days, where we are moderate exercise, about 7 out of 10. We can maintain that level of exercise for 30 minutes by walking, biking, walking in swimming pool if you have too much arthritis. So many things can be done, but pushing a little more and more within your own comfort level. Some people check their heart rate, so many other things, but by and large, listening to yourself. And we teach this ease, exercise, awareness, smile experience, where you're able to still keep smiling. You can be sweating, but if you're able to still smile and you're able to listen to your body, that's good enough. You can go to 7 comfortably. Make sense? But 30 minutes on most days of the week, that's what our body needs on a minimum. At every age, what our ability to do, how far we go may be different as we grow older, but trying to spend 30 minutes in exercise, we all should. If you don't think it's safe outside in the ice and snow, if you can do it in a stationary bicycle at home, some exercise is great. Everybody's asking for Angela's summary. So I'm going to make that available in the slide set. Any other quick questions? It's past the hour, so maybe we should turn off the recording. Or we'll keep the recording on. It's okay. It's the last session. If anyone is welcome to pitch in. Our Siddhar Anbu Ganapati is usually with us. He may have some words of wisdom from 5,000 years ago. He might have left. I don't know if he's still around. People who haven't spoken so far. I think Siddhar is still there, but maybe he's not able to come in. You're still on mute, Aya.
Yeah, I am available. I'm waiting. We'll talk later. Okay.
People who haven't spoken so far, any quick questions? Anybody? We are open.
I don't have a question. I have a comment.
Yes, Barbara.
We were talking a few minutes ago about the, live presentation versus watching the video. And I think both are extremely valuable. There's something about an interaction, even if it has to be over Zoom, that's just more immediate and more personal. And I mean, I'm incredibly surprised and grateful that you take the time to do these. This has been so important to me. And it's like the big missing piece that I never would have been able to figure out on my own. And but I love going back and watching this, looking at the slides again and watching it to reinforce intellectually, the things you're teaching. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to have these groups, and then,
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Barbara. For me, I cannot thank you enough for being here. And I cannot thank enough so many friends in mid-Missouri in 2015 who had the courage to trust this crazy cardiologist who says, don't eat, don't do this, you keep smiling through exercise. And they are the ones who showed us. Now we have published all of this. Now it's not a exploration into the wilderness or something. We go directly into our heart, we knock the door, it opens, and we are able to say, this is the way to do this. But 5 years ago, I didn't have that confidence. I did not know Siddhar Anbhaganavati until a few months ago. So now we know that these things are explored and been science for 5,000 years in Siddha, which is my own part of the world, but I did not know the specific teachings that I showed today. But the reality is our truth, our answers, our experience of life is so unique. No doctor or psychologist or anybody can be there and say they understand your circumstance. I cannot claim that, but I can be here 100% for you. And in this COVID world, through the Zoom, I'm so happy that we have found this chance to be together. And I cannot thank you enough for how much trust you have placed on me.
Hi, doctor. This is Gokul from India. Yeah, thank you for the session. And I'm 21 and I have started following your fasting tips, and I want even suggest my parents to follow it. And
we don't see your video, Gokul.
Following.
In case you are able to show yourself, that might be even better.
Yeah, I am outside. Yeah.
This is my real hope that younger generation learn these things, because I'm not in Twitter, Facebook, those things. So I cannot reach you. Somehow you reached us. So I'm very happy, Gokul. You take it in your social media and make people more aware of these simple things.
Yeah, sure.
So what got you in with our program? Remind us.
Yeah. You mean what I got from your program?
How did you even get introduced to this thing?
Yeah, first I was following your father, Dr. Chokalingam's videos on YouTube, and it was just by chance I came over your LinkedIn profile. That is where I saw your website, and yeah, that is how I got into it. And yeah, it was a really fun and exciting experience over this 2 months.
Excellent, Gokul. You keep me updated how your life journey goes, and how we can connect with more people who are in your age group. Because if we change that generation, they actually help change my patients. Many of my patients are eating healthier, doing more fun stuff because they are inspired by their children or grandchildren who are taking up better health these days. So we want everybody to embrace these simple things.
Yeah, sure. Even my friend has joined today.
Wonderful.
Even he is in my same class. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I wish I had known this a lot longer ago.
Yes, I also wish I
And
had known this when I was 20. For 45 years, I kept eating 3 meals a day. Now I'm 48. Last 3 years, I only become happier and more energetic
oh,
by
well,
putting less food in my body.
that's great. You don't look 48. You look like you're still in your 30s.
The
But
next session, I'll not tell my age. I'll say I'm only 28.
thank you for the invitation to be your patient. I will take you up on that.
With pleasure. With pleasure.
And for this program.
Willie, you saw your story there? You recognize your slides?
Hi there, sir. How are you?
Excellent. So in that 10-minute video we want to make for heart failure, your story we showed. Did you see that? Did you recognize it was your
I did
story?
see it. As soon
Yes.
as it popped up.
Because we don't put your name there. So I just wanted to acknowledge how you are helping
that's fine.
humanity.
It gave me another reason to smile. It was a surprise, but yeah, it helped me again understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I can't thank you enough. I'm at a place now where today's lesson, I mean, every time we do this, I learn I always take something away. So, and a lot of stuff you've gone over some of this stuff repeatedly, but guess what? Sometimes you need that's how I learn, is to hear it over and over again. And so I've taken an opportunity to put a new weapon in my arsenal, and that when it comes to ketosis, you're right. When I first came to you, I thought you were crazy telling me to not eat to get better. And I had no idea why you would make a suggestion like that. But when my wife and I left the hospital, we said, you know what, let's give this guy a chance. And it didn't take long. It didn't take very long at all. I mean, within a matter of a couple of weeks, I started to feel a difference, not necessarily a physical difference, but a mental difference in what I was attempting to do and how it made me feel. And so, like I said, the more I seek hunger, and just the title of your book says it all. Seeking hunger is, as crazy as it sounds, it's one of the keys to making this thing work, and the more I seek hunger, the better I feel. So thank you again.
You've become so much of a orator now. We need to get you to do these sessions, Willie. March 11th, I'm going to do this Paul Pepper Radio Friends show. So maybe you can come on television with me. So think about it. If you want to come and talk there,
I'm not a television person, and
you told me earlier that you won't talk here also, but now you are talking so nicely, and what you recorded a couple of weeks ago is going to be the main thing for inspiring people. So thanks so much, Willie.
Thank you, sir. And before I go, I just wanted to tell everybody thank you for allowing me to see who you are this week. I saw a lot of faces that I hadn't seen over the last 8 weeks, and there are some new people that came on today. And like I said last week, it's good to put a face with a name, and again, it gives me more reason to smile and more gratitude in my life, just knowing that I have people that are doing what I'm doing and feeling how I'm feeling. So thank you all. I want to thank the group, and hopefully we'll see you during the next session.
Siddhar Anbu Ganapati, we are going to close our session, sir, if you want to say something. Anybody else?
No, Dr. Very nice. Actually, the practice of fasting is made a religious practice in our country. You know that pretty well. So fasting is included in our way of living. On a new moon day, one meal is skipped. It may be the breakfast in the morning preferably, or in the night also. On a full moon day, the whole day they fast. Only in the night, after the night puja, they take food. And annually, the Shaivats on Mahashivaratri day. Tomorrow is Mahashivaratri day, and I am going to my native place to practice. The whole day we don't take anything. So this has been in practice for so many thousands of years. And Vainavats on that day, what's it called? Ekadashi, in the month of Margazhi, they don't take any food. Even they don't swallow saliva. So such a rigorous fasting practice has been there in our country in practice. We have been doing it without knowing its value and importance. Probably that may be the reason many of our great parents were able to live beyond 100 very easily. You know, I can tell one small story if time can permit. I was 8 years old. The mother of my grandfather, she was 106 years old. She has become bedridden. She is on the bed for more than 6 months, but there was no bed sore. She speaks, but the voice is not audible. To hear what she speaks, we have to put our ear near her mouth. And when you hear that, the voice is very clear. He called my grandmother and told her, her parents, they never died. They were actually taken alive to the crematorium. They were put inside pot. They were given with some special food. Their lamp was lit there and it was kept inside and it was closed. So death never came to them. That's what she told. I remember even today. But she said, today is the British government. They will not allow us to practice that. So there is only one way. I am not catching cold. Only when I catch cold, the phlegm can block the flow of air into my lung. Then death can set on me. But I am not catching cold. You please do one thing. You take me in the morning and massage fresh oil on my head and pour cold water so that I may catch cold. And this was practiced in the presence of hundreds of villagers. But the next day she did catch cold. Then she asked, no, don't worry about it. Today you do one thing. Today you give the same oil bath and give me coconut water. The second day she was given coconut water, and I still remember his face. It was glowing. She called my grandmother and told, you know, Unamalai, I caught cold. I'm very happy that I'm going to die very soon. You give me one more day the coconut water. After the time. The third day, she had a nice end at the age of 106. She has invited death. She wanted to die because she doesn't want to be a weight on others. So unless or otherwise you want to die, you cannot die if you practice hunger fasting experience, hunger gratitude experience. So unless you invite death yourself, death will not come near you. You can kick death. Not 100 years or more. That is, you cannot measure it in terms of years. One can live as long as he wants, like Tirumular, provided you practice proper dieting, proper fasting, and proper smiling, and enjoying everything on life. That is very important. When we miss, we always convert our nice flower vase into a dustbin. We load always with the dirty, unwanted experience of the past. We don't remember the glorious past. We remember only the ugly past. So you try to load your brain with good experiences and joyful experiences and never be worried about anything. Be happy and live in the present. One can live any long years, healthy and happy. This is my experience. This is what I have been practicing, and I enjoy the benefit of this practice. And you are giving this knowledge to the world population, and really God will shower good health and what not on you to live happy and healthy, to share this experience with the people for the welfare of humanity. It will live long forever and will be remembered forever. Thank you. God bless you.
Amazing, Ayya. Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom and your family personal experience and the message that this simple fasting method is so profound and can keep us going in such good health throughout life. Thanks so much.
Doctor, I have a question. I am 65 years old or young, and I've been listening to your sessions. I'm really interested, but I find it very difficult to remember to smile 20 times an hour. And secondly, food, I've always believed in living to eat instead of eating to live. So that's been a change now, listening to your sessions. I have lost about 30 pounds in the last 2 years since COVID, but I had to pause on my weight loss plan because I found out that my daughter had cancer. So I was taking care of her. Now that her chemo is done and I'm back on my own with my husband, it's hard to follow this because I have a husband who eats continuously. He thinks that if he doesn't eat every half an hour, he's going to die. So trying to cook meals for him makes me want to eat because I've cooked for him. So how do I get over that?
Get him to our series. He has to join us.
Well, he has listened to a few of them, but because he listens that not eating is the main thing here, main focus, he doesn't believe in that.
See, the
so he doesn't
reality
listen to
is
it.
what you're discussing is the challenge, which is very new. This challenge is only a few hundred, maybe few decades old.
So I'll show my face.
This challenge is how do we occupy our time and our energy with less food? Because throughout existence, all the life forms over millions and millions of years, primary job has been seeking food, even for humans, until very, very recently. So that is why we connect our fulfillment and happiness with eating. So we don't blame anybody for what they are doing. It's just that once we make that disconnection, like Siddhar Anbanavati said, he said it in a very big way. He said there is no death that is ever going to come. That is because of he has that family where he has shown how for generations they have lived like that. So he can say what his truth is. But what I'm trying to say is that is at the end of life. But now when we are still alive, we can separate our happiness from the food. I only thought we can separate it. Now through Siddhar Anbanavati, I know that when we separate, the happiness actually goes up. It's not just independent, it actually goes up when you cut the food intake. So that is what we are finding. That you prove to yourself. Once you find that your happiness is not going down and you can do everything. See, now you are dealing with such a challenge, your own child's health. So once you cope with that the best you can, you're showing your children, your husband, everybody, that your inner resilience is independent and it is going to do only good for your family through doing what you're doing. So this confidence that you just gained in the last 5 minutes by connecting with us.
When you have to cook, then
yes,
the
smell. That is perfectly fine. That's not a problem. You can have all the senses. You don't have to eat. It's a little harder because I go to work most days of the week and this is my office, so I can come here. If I'm in the kitchen, I might be more tempted to eat. That is definitely there. But even that, only when we are really hungry. Till then we can learn it. It's harder for you than it is for me, obviously. But you already lost 30 pounds in this pandemic where most people have gained weight. So you already shown
but
it
I
is
still
possible.
have another 15 pounds to lose.
Don't
My
count the
BMI
numbers.
is 20.
Just keep smiling despite your challenges. I didn't share one story here. One of our good friends, She did this, and in her 70s, this was 2 years ago, she reported she's feeling like 25. She didn't even come back to see me last year. When she came back last month, she was doing so well. I was holding my breath to see if something unfortunate has happened in her life. And one thing had happened. Her 40-year-old son had committed suicide. She came home from work and found that he was hanging by the roof, and then she pulled him down, tried to do CPR, and he couldn't save her own son, who had no mental or physical health issues at 40. So that is the saddest thing. But he's gone now. And I asked her, 4 months after that, you come to see me. How do you feel? She said, because of Heartful Living, my Uvagai has not gone. I'm still at 10 out of 10, because only 10 we can give. So that's why I'm giving 10. She's still there, despite losing her own son. So what I'm trying to say is not that we are becoming immortal, elevating consciousness. All these are words. In our day-to-day life, can we connect and do the best we can? And for that, this is a direct route. And that route, the patients are showing me that it works for them. You don't have to be born in Tamil Nadu, India, or be trained in yoga or any practice. People in Missouri, they are learning these simple things on their own terms. We are only teaching them the smile for a few times. It's 20 number, all that doesn't even matter. You are doing amazing, Bharati. That's why you're here, despite your daughter's health, despite so many challenges. Every step forward is amazing. The best we can do, we will do. That's all. We don't have to go 20 hours fasting. Even if we do 1 hour of little hunger, that itself is amazing. Whatever we can do.
Okay. I am looking for a cardiologist. I wish you were here.
My dad just came on. Maybe you can see him. He's in Chennai. Hello, Pa. Are you able to talk to us?
I'm in New Jersey. No, I'm in New Jersey.
Okay. I just saw the Indian name and guessed you might be from India.
Yes. No, I'm in New Jersey, so I wish I could come and see you.
Hello, Anand. How are you?
Can everyone mute yourself? Yes, Dad. Nice to see both of you, Dad and Mom.
Sorry, I just now joined on and carry on, carry on.
We are done. So.
Oh, you're done. Sorry. Good.
Anand, it was I who was listening. It was a very, very wonderful lecture you could give. And I'm really happy about all your patients who have really benefited from you.
Excellent, Ma. See if you have 2 machines at home. Your cell phone also is on, because we are hearing a lot of echo from your end.
No, I off it, Anand.
Maybe
I think Sandy has something to say, Doctor.
After came, I offed it.
Sandy, let's hear you. Why don't you also mute yourself, Dad? If you unmute in a bit, it might be better. Sandy, you want to say something?
Yes, we had a house full of company. Oops, I got to. Wow. Is it okay now?
So Sandy, it looks like it's your system that's giving us this echo. You might have to just type in the chat. I'm not sure what we can do.
Why.
Unless Ron and Sandy are both connected in separate devices in the same room.
All right. Are we okay now?
Yes, it's excellent.
Yes, we're unmuted.
And can you hear me?
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
All right. I was going to tell you that this weekend we had a house full of company, and they came to the door bearing gifts,
food,
lots of cookies and apple pie. And I said to myself, what would Dr. Chocolingam say? And I decided that you would say, enjoy it, smile and then do a lot more walking and fasting. Am I right?
Definitely, you must enjoy.
So that's what we're doing.
See, it's a blessing to have friends who care for us and bring us these gifts. Try to share it with more friends, but definitely you should enjoy it. Appa, you want to talk?
Was that your parents? And could they come back on?
Today
Dad
I
is a
want to
cardiologist in India. He's my mentor and he taught me cardiology.
Today I want to listen you all talking on it.
We are done 1.5 hours. So we are going to wind up. Last 2 minutes, whatever
Very
you
good,
say, then
very
we
good,
can wind
very
up.
good. Very happy. Nice to see you all. Any questions you can ask Anand or Chokalingam. I really don't know what he has been talking. He is there with you all to clarify all your doubts. See how Merlin is keeps smiling all the time. She is not smiling 20 times, Anand. She is smiling all the time. So you are becoming more and more younger, Merlin. And what I suggest is, instead of what Anand is saying, smiling is the one we are going to express and seeing it. And what he stresses is, keep smiling within you. You be happy with what you are. That's what he has been telling Uvagai. There's a greatest strength you can have it, that he is communicating. And this message must go to many people, Anand. I really appreciate your interest and service to our society and fellow persons. All the best, Anand.
Thanks so
Well,
much.
he's good.
Yes, Merlin.
I was just going to tell your father that he should be very proud of you. That all of these people, you saved so many people. And perhaps I'll be one of them. Who knows? But in any case, this has been super valuable for me. Thank you.
And
Amazing.
only one point I want to say, Anand, those who have been connected with their friends and relatives all the time, they live longer. Their heart will become more stronger. And if you are going to consider and be with your friends and relatives, I used to say sometimes, consider all your friends as your relatives and consider all your relatives as friends. There will never be any dispute in the life. That's what I used to say that. So the way you all should be united together as a single person, as a oneness, you must all live together. That's what Anand and our friend is also there. I'm just seeing him. So happy. Thank you, Anand.
Thanks, everyone. Amazing series. Thanks so much, Dad, Mom, Siddhar Anbu Ganapati, especially for bringing so much wisdom and depth to our program. We'll save these recordings on High Life Journey and we'll do this again in the summer. And you'll get updates. If you can register in High Life Journey, it'll be easier so that you'll know for sure when the next series is. And we'll post it in the website and whatever platform we have. Thanks so much.